Okay, I think I'm live. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'll need somebody on to confirm that. Stephanie, so can you hear me? I took my headphones out, so I don't know if the audio is working well or working at all. So just give me like a thumbs up or a heart or something so that I know you can hear me. I'm using my laptop, which is different. Okay. So hopefully, I'm going to assume that everybody can hear me. So I titled it, thank you, love, Communication Simply, because I wanted to talk about the simplicity of communication. So a lot of times we think of vocal communication and words or expressions, but we all know that we pick up subtle cues or subconsciously different forms of expression and communication and translate that subconsciously without even noticing. So how the weather is, the way somebody moves their hands or their head or their blinks their eyes or looks at you, the colors they may be wearing, all of these things factor into how communication is received and transmitted. So, you know, on a basic level, again, we use words now, so it gets energy. In my opinion, it gets energy kind of jumbled up. So we'll say words, and it'll have like different kind of connotations or context of them. But when we're not using words, what are we communicating? What are we translating? How are we interpreting these things? So that's the kind of, basic topic I want to talk about. So for instance, a hug, right? That's a form of communication. You're connecting with someone body to body, and you feel an essence or a vibration. So you're exchanging energy in that instance. And on a most simplistic level, that's basically what I'm trying to say. So even like a facial expression can send a vibrational signal to someone else, and that's basic communication. And so I want to get a little bit deeper into it as far as, I can't even see. This is so weird with the computer. It doesn't like scroll automatically. Hi, everyone. So on a deeper level, the things, look at the birds fly. That's so funny. The things or animals or objects or nature or anything around you is also communicating. For instance, this laptop that is in front of me is being used as a channel or a medium, so to speak, to communicate for me. I'm saying something, it's going into the mic, it's coming out of the receiver, you hear it, et cetera, et cetera. So there are so many things that are communicating with us and within us. So, for instance, I'm pretty sure a lot of you have heard about the fact that water can be altered via vibration. There's an experiment that is well known that you put a cup of water and you write a message on it, I hate you. And then you put another cup of water and put a message on there that says, I love you. And those those two cups of water will form in different patterns depending on the depiction of that particular message or communication. So think about it this way. And water is a very interesting communicator. So ocean water, for instance, is getting messages from all the time, from whatever's in it, whatever things are surrounding it, and how it's being used. And so the same for inside of our body. They say that majority, hair's all over the place, majority of our body is made of water, blood as well. So the blood that runs through your veins, the water that is being used to soak up the nutrients and help you digest things, et cetera, et cetera. It's all communicating in your body. Your body's communicating in so many different ways. And so what I learned personally is that we can heal better by communicating with our body, by communicating with ourselves, by communicating with all of these different energies. Because in essence, you're sending a message, sending a vibration, and therefore altering its state. And so a lot of times when I drink my water, I will repeatedly affirm in my head the words and feelings of love and that vibration, so that when I'm receiving the water inside my body, I can feel that nourishment and that replenishment, and it's a different vibrational frequency as opposed to me not doing anything. Then I could just be receiving all kinds of energies and not know it. But let me just check some of your guys' comments. That was the basic thing I just wanted to say, is that communication can actually be so simple. It's not as complex as we make it. Simple contact with things is a form of communication. Focus. You focus your attention or your energy on something, you are communicating with it. I'm sure many of you have heard of telepathic, frequencies, and again, just the way this digital media is conveying a message that is happening, but you're not experiencing it with me, really. You're getting it in a delayed form. Nonetheless, hopefully as authentic and genuine as it can possibly be. But love you guys. Communication is key. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you. Doing a lot better. I have a small, I did a live the other day. I have a smaller boot on, so my toe is healing. Hopefully, I won't be having to go through surgery for it. Keep focusing on that healing vibration. Many are shut down and do not want to communicate for many different reasons or connect with anyone. I agree, Susan. I've been in that state of mind as well. And honestly, a lot of times when I'm in my solitude mode, I tend to do that myself, where I don't want to communicate with anyone but myself. And that's okay too. Susan says, yes, I feel everything is connected, and yes, communicating in so many ways. Yes, I feel that is so true about water, and very perceptive of use your heart every perspective. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, communicating, and that's why I said simply, because it's simple. It really is as simple as me tapping this desk. We're communicating something now. You see, drinking this drink, it's coffee. It's a communication between things. Yes, so very observant about the body, yes. I think we need to be more observant about the body. I think a lot of us are throwing information around and not really understanding what it is that we're supposed to be doing, or what is the real true basis or purpose of the information. Information. I just love that word, by the way. If you break it down, inside, formation. And just like the Beyonce song, come on, ladies, let's get in formation. Let's get into an organized format and work together in unity, so that we can be more efficient, healthy, happy, healthy, wealthy. It's my me and my daughter's little affirmation, daily affirmation. And those are very important. I've heard different things about that, that affirmations don't work, that affirmations aren't shit. affirmations are everything. And I think that's a basic thing that really is important to communicate to yourself, and reaffirm things that you truly believe so that your subconscious can pick up on it and it'll be more prominent. See, the thing is that when we grow up and we have certain conditioning factors that programmed our minds to think in a certain way and have so much disbelief in ourselves or so much belief in other things that are not so much helpful for us, um, we have to learn to reprogram, as everyone keeps saying, so that we can get back on the positive wavelength and create a better reality. So wonderful that you are mentioning that about water, sweetheart. So often many things can be taken for granted, including water. Compass will have awesome communications. Absolutely, Susan. I would love to. I'm not sure where you are, but the communications is so deep, and although I block myself off a lot of times to replenish and gain that solitude, it's only to kind of like recharge, because we're interacting with people all the time. Sorry, this hair is bothering me. These short hairs, not used to it. So it's very important to communicate with others. And I notice that when I do go in my solitude modes, I still have people reaching out to me and letting me know how important it is to continue the connections. And I appreciate that so, so much. I know I don't get back to everybody in a very timely format all the time, but nonetheless, the messages are received and genuinely appreciated. Utmost respect for all of you. Every being deserves and is worthy of love and respect. So thank you, all of you who reach out all the time. The connections I've made here on Facebook are beautiful, so very much appreciated. And yes, like you said, Susan, simple things such as water are very much taken for granted. So many people do things without the conscious thought of them. And by acknowledging the water, by acknowledging the clothes, by acknowledging the phone, by acknowledging the coffee, you are honoring and gifting that thing or energy with your presence as well. That communication goes a long way. It's reciprocated in one way, some way. Diane Ferris said, communicate without words. I love reading energy. I'll be honest with you. That's one of the pet peeves of mine. You can say all the words you want. But as I say, you can read between the lines. You can see the energy. You can sense the vibrations that someone is signaling to you. So just be more aware, be more conscious, pay more attention, focus. You're having problems with your toe. Bummer. Hope it gets well very soon. Thank you, Susan. I broke it a few weeks ago, so I'm in the healing phase, unfortunately. But it's actually been a lesson as well, because I tend to communicate frustration and impatience with myself. At least I did a lot initially with the big boot. Now I'm a little bit more comfortable and I'm like, okay, I'm not bitching at myself all day. But it's taught me a lot about patience and vulnerability and being in a state of endurance. Although it's all temporary, these things can get to you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, But being aware of it, I think, is key to handling it well, so to speak. So my point about communication is that oftentimes I do find, for all kinds of reasons, that whatever humans are shut down. Especially these days, I think so many people are taking a lot personal, and that takes a lot from communication. We either take it too literal, or we're too sensitive about it, or we're completely, irrespective of it, and inconsiderate of the essence or substance that is needed. So we need more compassion. I agree, to connect, communicate, connect, and unify these, crazy chaos times that we're in. It's quite a thing. I absolutely feel that we all need times of meditation and quiet for sure. Absolutely. Once we quiet down the chatter, that's where the journey begins of knowing who you are, right? Throwing up false flags. Matt, what do you mean by that as far as what I was saying when you're communicating words and trying to say a message, yet the energy is conveying something different? Yeah, false flag. It's only flagging. So, and those things, I honestly, I notate to myself. Sometimes I'll call people out on it because they need to know what they're doing. And I may be in the mood to directly acknowledge that, mention it. But for the most part, I let people be themselves. If they want to be that, magician, illusion, smoke and mirrors type of person, they can do that elsewhere. I make notations. The energies are very intense, and the way the planets are lined up is bringing huge, intense energies and shifts and changes for sure. This whole year has been very intense. I agree, Susan. This year has definitely been intense. We're halfway through. And yes, right now there are so many retrogrades. The planets are aligned in certain ways. And there was a post that I want to share. I've got to find it though. I know Tiana Amor had shared it, and it was mentioning the fact that these retrogrades are part of a trap, so to speak. It's to get your mind thinking that you are in a state of havoc, okay? Oh my gosh, Mercury is in retrograde. That means that everything's going to be opposite and all fucked up. But in essence, like, first and foremost, everything is at a level of perception. So if you perceive it to be that way, it's going to be that way. But if you have the power of influence, power of choice, and you understand how to exercise that power, you can utilize these energies to learn lessons, to communicate effectively with yourself, to get in tune with yourself. A lot of these things I would consider reflections, okay? Everything is a reflection, in essence. All these 1111s, all these, things that we're seeing, reflections. Everything here is a simple reflection of your energy that you're projecting out. And so when we get on this wavelength that everybody's on and saying, oh my God, it's Mercury retrograde, there's so much shit going on and it's so bad and it's so this and it's so that. Yeah, you'll experience that because that's what you're projecting, and then the more energy and the more people that get into that collective idea, the more powerful that thing is. So try to open your mind just a little bit to everything, and maybe perceive or see with a new set of eyes. That's what I try to do. A lot of people talk about the bird's eye view, because when you're looking from the front of something or the side of something or the back of something, you don't really get the full multifaceted thing that it is. And even the bird's eye, you have to kind of shift your view to get a full spectrum of the truth. That's the way I would explain it. Ross says, you're a good person, Luna, and this is what I call blessings. Absolutely. Thank you. Gratitude is an open attitude. Absolutely. Thank you for mentioning that, Ross. That's what I wanted to mention. I was coming out of the bathroom, and that's one of the things that I was acknowledging, because certain people, I'm a very empathic person, a sentimental person. I don't know what you would call it, sentiment. I feel things, sense things. So I was drying my hands with the napkin and notating in my head how much I appreciated it. And it sounds so simple, so weird, but it really did connect with me, that gratitude attitude when you appreciate things or acknowledge things with appreciation, it just opens so many doors. It's so beautiful because you are mm, honoring and respecting life, whether it be, I know I said a paper towel, but I'm saying life in general. It doesn't matter what it is, you're communicating with it. So send the energy that you wish to be receiving as well. I know it sounds weird. Imagine if you were the paper towel. Wouldn't you want to be appreciated for drying someone's hands? Like I said, I'm sorry, it's so silly, but nonetheless, that's exactly the point I was making is the message and the communication. You know, when you send appreciation and gratitude, it just brings forth so much more abundance in your life as well. That said, energy speaks before the mouth moves. Facts. Yeah, stop walking around without slides. You know what, Sakila? This is in the quieter we are, the more we're able to hear. Absolutely, I agree. Very much agree, Matt. There's a message on my wall that says something about listening and taking the time to listen so that you can actually hear. I said, hey, just call it hormones. Women need to feel and experience that fully, just like men need to understand their experiences through their own curiosity. It's both two sides of the same experience in life learning. Women learn from the masculine and men learn from the feminine, both need patience with each other. I totally agree. Absolutely. Well, we both have both within us. And I think that's another thing that people get a little misconstrued. Skewed. How should I say that? That, you know, as a woman, I only have divine feminine energy. I have to laugh. Like, come on. We are androgynous beings, believe it or not, deep within our core. So we have to balance both. But yes, we do. We learn from the opposite sex for the most part. I think that's why there is so much different gender things going on right now, because finding ourselves in these energies and learning how to maneuver with them. Because some of us women have more masculine tendencies than men do. And that's just fact. It happens. Vice versa. It's just a balance within self. You know, we learn from everything that we experience and encounter in life. Women learn from the male objectivity, and men learn from the experience of feelings. When open to it, we learn that from the woman. Agreed. We are more emotional beings, or at least expressive in our emotions, as opposed to most men. They tend to be more logical and objective, etc. And so balancing those two, the heart and mind, that's one thing that I think is very important, is balancing the heart and mind, the logic versus emotion. Balance. Balance is key. And since I have gone through menopause, I have experienced a lack of estrogen. What I a man now? And also feel I'm experiencing whatever with my thyroid. Interesting. All external is merely a reflection of internal. Absolutely, Matt. Thank you. So true. Cause and effect. I am very open-minded. Me as well, Susan. I leave everything out on the table. I'm very open and honest and receptive. Like if somebody were to tell me something, not that I would take it straight away, but I would be open-minded enough to seek what they're seeing. I like to see things from other people's point of view, because then it gives me more of a clear idea. Like I always seek to understand people. That is one of my biggest pet peeves. Like if I don't understand something, I can't lie, I will go kind of crazy. I will get kind of anxious. My anxiety kicks in, and I'm tempted to, you know, continue questioning until I get the answers of the clarity that I'm seeking. So for instance, if someone's trying to tell me something and I didn't get it, I'll do my best to understand it. And if I don't understand it, then I will seek that clarity by questioning, like, okay, so is this what you mean? Is this what you mean? And I feel like that's more effective only if you're open, though, not if you're seeking some type of outcome or have a malicious intention. It doesn't do anyone any good when you're having those, you know, ulterior motives. That's what they call them. Sorry, I lost the word. This piece of hair is so gonna bother me. Um, so more comments. I feel these days are the days to completely change and grow, although all kinds of concepts and belief systems to change and go and allow whatever humans let go of to let go. Yeah, letting go is really a key factor, I believe, in retrieving more abundance, because when you're trying, so it's like somebody was explaining, trying to grip a bar of soap. When you try to grab that soap and you're trying to grip it with all your might and have control over it, it's slipping out of your hands. But if you understand the mechanism of the thing you're dealing with, you will learn how to project the perfect cadence or pace to flow with the soap. So I feel the same as with the abundance and the blessings. So there really are so much abundance and blessing. It's infinite. The possibilities are infinite. And once you realize that, the limits are almost vanished. That's part of letting go of those limitations, letting go of those restricting beliefs that we've been conditioned to believe. I am so into manifesting wonderful things. Awesome. So genuinely. Thank you, Darnell. Appreciate your presence. All right. No, just more demanding or simpler and open as a woman, Susan. Life breaks down and we get more simple as we age. As men and women, we become less blurred, more seen from the other side, and have overactive thyroid usually. But then when theirs breaks down, they start understanding emotions and get shit at sex, but become better husbands. It's very interesting points of view. I like that. My husband really helped me in trusting something about myself that I didn't have trust in. I'm thankful for those who have encouraged me to make trust and confidence in myself and have encouraged many to have confidence in themselves. Yes, that is something I practice as well, Susan. It's especially for women, I think it's much more difficult for us to have a sense of confidence and a sense of self because we've been honestly suppressed for so long and subdued, so to speak. Whereas we have a mentality that we're a little bit lower on this pedestal, we have a little bit more work to do. We're not as genuinely appreciated as we should be for the abilities and capabilities that we do have. So having the confidence and getting that encouragement from others is so important, so vital. I don't know if you're in my group, Susan, but I have a women's empowerment group here on Facebook. I'll check to see if you're on. If not, I'll invite you. And so it's geared towards empowering each other as women and inspiring each other and motivating and encouraging that self-confidence, that self-love that's really needed for us to thrive in the world. Says, yes, we have aspects of both right down to the genome. We are half woman, our mother, and half father, or me, and all of us. Exactly. I agree, balance is key. Facts. Asked my husband just turns 71 and left testosterone when in the 30s, and for 2, I would have to have a lot of hormone treatment to feel like doing anything sexual. So I used to get testosterone shots and was very frisky. After I went through menopause and didn't feel like doing anything sexually, you could see how much shots are like. That's understandable. Understandable. Hormones are a big factor. I'm a Libra and I'm always looking for balance. Me too, Susan. Libra life. I am here with you. Libra life. Matt said, growing up with 4 sisters and no brothers caused a strong emotional connection with my being. I'm grateful for this every day. I agree, Matt. A lot of men that I've known that had grew up with sisters or had a lot of female influences, it brings them a sense of balance that I find very intriguing and such a beautiful notion because most men don't have that. God bless y'all. The Eagles are so big. The logic and objectivity is so deep. Expectations breed disappointment. Agreed. I've been on here for 30 minutes. I'm trying to go through the comments before I go. As long as no one comes in here. I'm very honest and truthful too, and I'm always encouraging others to be that way, and amongst realizing that I don't know what anyone else should do. Yes, you don't know what someone else should do. That's why one of the things that I encourage you to look within. Ever since I started being more social on social media, my whole point and purpose is for you to dig deep within yourself. I have no go-to answers. I'm not the person to know. I'm not a guru. I'm not somebody who's going to tell you exactly what you're supposed to do, A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. No. I recognize individuality and I trust my instinct and I seek truth. And as you're saying, you encourage others to do the same. And that's the best you can do, honestly. It really is. Is that your office? Somewhat. One of them. No limits, absolutely. I am not so controlling anyone. I lived in two so-called spiritual communities for 30 years where there were tons of manipulation, control, and other inappropriate abuse. I now realize that I need to protect myself and not be trampled on anymore. Yeah, it's sad that the spiritual community seems to convey one message and display another. For people who seem and portray themselves to be about unity and one love tend to be the first ones to judge. And that bothers me so much because I've never been one to judge. We all come from crazy experiences in life. I don't think anyone's had a very subtle, boring lifestyle, to say the least. We all have our pains, we all have our different trials and tribulations. And so disregarding that is the inconsideration that the spiritual community brings into other people and basically continues to divide between the norm and the woke. It's ridiculous. I'm probably gonna do a whole video on that. One day I want to just discuss the topic of this spiritual wave, this trendy spirituality that we got going on. One with the soap. Right. Talk to it. Holding in balance, right? My last comments before the question. Life humbles us all. Excuse my Leo strong of a personality. I can't change how I talk to people or type. It don't mean so intensely. Intense is okay. And see, that's part of being open and honest. At least you understand self. And the apology isn't so-called necessary, but the consideration of it is beautiful. Because not everybody can receive the message the same way. I would love to be able to communicate honestly with so many and have them honestly communicate with me. So many are dishonest with themselves and dishonest with others and are shut down. I always attempt to be honest with myself and others. It's the best you can do, Susan, is to be as honest with yourself as possible. And sometimes not worrying so much whether or not they're being completely honest with you. Of course, discerning is important. But it seems that just because the repetition of the same concept or that you're relaying to or referring to, can't talk today. You have to sometimes just let people be who they are. Yes, discerning whether or not they're telling you the truth is helpful, but it's not the end of the world if they're lying to you because all that matters is what you do to you, if that makes any sense. You are responsible for you. And that's it. You can't be responsible for everybody else. You can only do so much. I totally agree regarding women. There was so much suppression when I lived those so-called spiritual communities for 30 years. Yes, please invite me to that women's group if I'm not in it already. Wonder if I can tag it there in the comments because I'm on my laptop. Oop, it was there. There it is. Okay. So that's the link to the group, Susan. If you can click on it, you can request to join if you're not already in it. I would definitely love to have you in there. It's full of love, all about the love and the connections and the encouragement. All right, where was I now? I think I lost my. I'm coming. There we are. You know what is interesting about the thyroid? How many deal with thyroid things? Every age. I have something called Hashimoto's thyroid thing. A lot of thyroid issues. It has to do with metabolism and your endocrine system. I appreciate you going through and commenting on the comments. Absolutely, love. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here to just talk to myself, although kind of, but reflections. So I appreciate your all's input. I don't want to come up here and not interact. It's not the point of a live. I just like to see when your birthday is so that you're, yes, I am a Libra too. With others for wisdom. When I lived in the Tuesday community, I looked to different people in the groups who were manipulating me and using me. So I now look to my own inner wisdom and realize I'm a sovereign being and no one has the right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Facts upon facts, Susan. That's a beautiful realization. And now, instead of dwelling on the fact that you spent so much time in a position of hindrance and victimization, focus on the blessings of where you are now, of realizing, coming to those realizations and transforming into the beautiful being you are. So that's what I try to key in on and factor into play when I'm thinking about things, because I was in a very long relationship, and I've now been single for about 2 years, and it still feels weird because I had a conditioning, I had a familiarity for so long, and I was still dwelling on those experiences in some way subconsciously. And it's like, once you get past your past, bring yourself fully in the present, in the moment, and appreciate all that you are. Ooh. Such a beautiful feeling. That's all I'm saying. Honing your energy, knowing who you are. Like you said, not allowing anybody or anything to control or manipulate you. Being sovereign is a very tough thing to do in a world that is completely surrounded by manipulated energy. I feel that all humans are messed up to one degree or another, and the humans that claim to be 100% perfect have the most problems. Probably. Take what resonates and leave the rest. Absolutely, Matt. Agreed. Darling, hi. How are you, Carly? Lots of love and blessings. Getting too vested in bullshit is bad for everyone involved when building off of nonsense. Agreed. Involved, invested. I know many don't want to talk politics, and I will say one political thing and then shut up. I find Trump to be a very insecure and delusional and a bully. I find many to be that way, including people that were in those so-called spiritual communities, the way I lived. I don't get into politics myself, Susan, so I probably won't even comment on that. Let's just say to each their own. I think it's an interesting time that we're living in. First on journey about image. Cultism, not occultism, just cult-like. Agreed. Same mentality as religious fundamentals and same flaws fundamentally. So it just ends up being self-escapism for them to escape themselves and how they feel and our feeling and how we see ourselves, honestly, not in adultery. is our first responsibility. Honesty is key. I do not consider myself new age. Never have. Agreed. Totally agreed. Thank you for messaging the name of the group. You're so welcome, love. You're so welcome. Lots of love and blessings. Yes, you speak from your experiences to encourage. And that's basically what I try to say too, is overcoming my obstacles is what brings forth the inspiration for me to further inspire you to overcome your obstacles. It's domino effect. Absolutely. Culture stuff and groups. Agreed. And talk about things learned because it helps realize whatever and helps others. Same, exactly. Those experiences, by expressing them, help you formulate better clarity for yourself and then insight for others. I have gone through many changes and I feel that I am pretty awesome. Yes, you are. I find that there is a concept in some that if you are to be spiritual, that you can't ever mention anything negative. Right. That's part of the connotation that I will definitely delve into on a whole nother live. I won't talk about it too much here because just talking mainly about communication, but I will totally delve into that, the fact that being spiritual has nothing to do with being so positive. It has to do with being aware. I don't know. Yeah, that's another topic. I really resonate with an earth where there is no politics or low vibe stuff. There are many things I really don't focus in constantly, but I do notice many things. Yeah, that's the difference. You notice them, but focusing is key. If you focus too much on something, you're feeding it energy. So that's very intelligent of you to discern between what's worth your time, energy, and focus. Therefore, awareness. You can take note of something easily, being aware of it, but you don't have to feed it. Rashad, give him a try, Luna, if you've not heard of him. He said there are many earths that we can choose to vibrate on. I believe this place is a simulation, and yes, Eckhart Tolle. I have a book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He's amazing to bring you into that present state of mind. It's beautiful. But wouldn't we need to pay attention to politics to keep aware of what's going on? I think politics is a broad media where we can watch them alter people's lives and move accordingly around that. If we don't know, we may never see what they got planned coming for us. No, I totally agree. Totally agree. Absolutely, Carly. That's why I say, like, taking note of it is important. Being aware of it is extremely important, like you said, so you know how to maneuver around it and not be submerged in it. So I totally agree. We need to be aware of it and find ourselves where our position is with all of that. What I would love to do would be to talk to masses amount of people and have everyone feel open enough to share so many things and be honest about their own experience and not have to be afraid. And that leads to, I totally agree. You and me both, Susan. Can we do that? Can we get like a massive intercom thing, what are those megaphones, and just talk to the whole world, speaking truth, helping them vibrate on a higher level so that they can speak their truth and be happy, healthy, and wealthy. Well, my loves, I totally appreciate all of you. I have gone down to the bottom of the comments. I've been on here for 44 minutes. Totally didn't expect that. But it's been such a pleasure. As always, I love connecting with you guys and communicating quite simply, even though this one little hair has bothered me the whole time, but I don't care. Here for the message. Okay, guys, I think I've mentioned that before. I don't really like to be seen and all that, but I love you and I hope everyone is doing well. Lots and lots and lots and lots of love and blessings. Till next time.